It's our chance to spend some time with team president Ernie Grunfeld and DC Rising. I think about that, the success this team enjoyed in the 2013-2014 season, and just an amazing ride. But now here we are. It's a busy summer ahead. And the first part is to sign your head coach, Randy Wittman, to a new contract. Talk about that development.
Well, absolutely. Randy did an outstanding job for us. We became one of the best defensive teams in the league, top 10 for the last 2 years. The players responded to him. He brought the whole team together. We played a real good brand of basketball, very unselfish. And we got to the second round of the playoffs, and I think we're really heading in the right direction. And Randy has done an outstanding job of leading this group.
You mentioned the defense because it is significant, and I just looked at this today. If you look at the just completed playoffs, the Wizards were #1 on defense for the time that they were in the playoffs. And you played in the NBA. The challenge a coach faces in making a team a good defensive team, that is a big challenge. I mean, the players respond, but there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Well, there's no question about it. Defense is hard. It's not as sexy as the offensive end where you can go up and get fast break dunks or three-pointers and things of that nature. But I think everybody realizes if you're going to make a headway in the NBA, you have to have a good solid foundation, and the defensive end of it is what really gets you through the regular season. And of course, in the playoffs where the game slows down a little bit, you have to be a good defensive team. And I think Randy drilled that into our players every single day, and we got better as the season went along, and our players really bought into it.
Some people don't often realize that Randy Wittman took this team over in January 2012, and doing anything in a lockout season is a challenge. And in a pretty short period of time, he was able to establish that tone. I think part of it may be his personality. I always describe him as he's a blue-collar guy. He just shows up for work each and every day, gives you an honest day's work, and gets it done. How important is his personality to getting you to this point?
Well, Randy's a no-nonsense type of person. He's a very hard worker. He understands the game very well, and he's fair, and the players know that. He's going to be very demanding, and if you do something wrong, he's going to try to correct you, but it's really for your own benefit and for the team's benefit. So I think the whole thing kind of came together well. The players respect Randy. Randy respects them, but at the same time, he's going to be very demanding of what he expects of them on the floor.
Randy's understanding of Bradley Beal, having played a similar position, that seems to have really accelerated Bradley's development.
Well, it really has. He knows how to show them the little tricks and the little things that you have to do, spacing and timing, and how to get your opponent off balance, how to create space offensively. And Randy's created a culture of hard work. Our players come in, they put their time in, they work hard, and they compete at a high level on a nightly basis. We're not always going to do everything right. We're not always going to make every single shot that we take. But I think over a long period of time, you could see that we competed hard every night, and we had a lot of pride. And a lot of that competitive edge comes from the way Randy acts.
Yeah, and Andre Miller, and I thought this was a strong statement, said in his 16-year NBA career, it was the most prepared he ever was for the playoffs. I mean, that statement alone says a lot about Randy and also the culture that's been created here.
That's a great compliment because he's been around. He's a very respected veteran player, and he came in and he felt good about what was going on. And Trevor Ariza also made some nice statements and said free agents would be crazy not to want to come here. And that's the kind of environment we're trying to create. We're trying to create a winning environment, a hard-working environment, an environment where a player knows that he could come here and he could be part of a good situation, a winning situation. And I think we're starting to establish that. Like I said, we still have a lot of work ahead of us. I think we all know that. But we've taken a nice step in the right direction.
When you look back at this season, and obviously we're talking about the success and this team, the way it challenged the Indiana Pacers, and for me there were so many, great moments of this Wizards season. Is there a particular moment you can share that you particularly, because as a team president you're probably never allowed to enjoy anything, you're always thinking about the next thing, but is there a moment where you enjoyed the way this team was coming together? There was that aha moment, if you will.
Well, I think it's a series of moments. The first great moment was for us when we made the playoffs, when we clinched that. Then when we won that first round game, Game 5 against the Bulls on the road, that was a really nice moment. When we won a game at Indiana. That was a nice moment. So it was a series of good moments as we went along, and we understand it's a process. This was our first year in the playoffs. I think we got a real nice taste of what it's like, the intensity level, the crowds, being on the big stage for the first time. I think our young players are going to really learn from that, and how the chemistry built as the season went on and as the playoffs went on. I think our players had each other's backs. We were able to talk to one another in a really rational way. Sometimes when a player says something to another player, they get upset, but I think our players understood that we're saying these things for the right reasons, because we want the team to grow and the team to get better. And this was a good first step for us. And I think if you look at teams from the past, they always have to take that first step and to break through and to get to the playoffs, and then you want to stay there. And every year is a different learning experience as you move along.
Yeah, you mentioned that because there's nothing like having done it. You can describe what the playoffs are like, but you have to get in the water and feel it. And I think you just made a great point, because it's something Bradley Beal brought up to me back in November that he was noticing already. He said, nobody's taking any comment within each other personally. And that, again, gets back to, I guess, the overall culture. And I've always used this word. This is an accountable team. And it starts with that, where nobody's taking comments personally. It's about, what does it mean to get this team better?
Well, it is. You're right. It's a good point, and I think that starts with Randy. Randy has made the players accountable. He holds them accountable. When we have tape sessions, the tape doesn't lie, as they say, so it's right there in front of you. But I think the players are taking it in a good spirit. They know this is not a personal issue. Anytime you try to talk or make corrections or make improvements, it's because it improves the team as a whole. And I think our players matured as we went along to understand that. And I think Randy had a lot to do with getting his points across and getting the players to buy in the right type of way.